Hello Vinyl community, Mike back for another video. I just want to take a moment to thank everybody who has welcomed me back to the vinyl community with open arms, who have recently subscribed, and who have made some nice comments and given me some thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It's really inspiring to know that there are kind people out there in the world, and so I'm going to get to the point of this video. I have finished processing that pile of records that I mentioned in one of my previous. If you haven't seen that video, I'll just tell you briefly that I answered a call to a Craigslist ad, and so I went to this lady's house and I opened up the barn or storage shed, and it was, I don't think they were her personal collection, but they pretty much, there were a pile of records that, there were two piles. They were about 3 or 4 feet tall, and the other one was about 2 feet tall. And it was pretty, I don't know how to edit on YouTube yet, but I would like to get a picture and put it on here, but if you Google pile of records, I'm sure you'll come across something similar. But what I saw was, they were just records, they were just stacked. I mean, they were stacked. Some of them are 3/4, I think, were out of the jackets, but most of the jackets were still there somewhere in the pile. For the most part, a lot of them were junk, but some of them were still in some of the sleeves, at least, the paper sleeves. So a lot of them were still in decent shape. A lot of them I was able to keep for myself. Some I'm going to offer up for trade, and I'm going to show those in just a second. But it was... So I opened up the storage shed, and I looked. I was like, at first glance, if an amateur would look at the pile, they probably would have passed. But you know, anybody out there watching this video, look for inspiration to find records. From just first glance, the pile was a lot. It was just too much. But I took, always take a minute. Don't be intimidated, but take a minute to look through the pile, and that's what I did. I took about 5 or 6 minutes to look through the pile, and a few things stuck out, and that's why I gave it a chance. I offered what I felt was comfortable, and I wasn't looking to get something for nothing, but I said to her, I said, listen, there's just a lot of junk here. There is some good stuff, but I gave her a price. She came back to me with another price. I said I just couldn't do it. So I stuck to my price, and I got the pile of records for what I wanted for, which I think was more than fair, considering there was a lot of junk in there. And I just didn't want to take a chance and spend a lot of money on stuff when I bring it home, find out what's really scratched. Because I didn't really look at the condition much. I just looked at what was there. So the first few records I'm going to show are up for grabs. Buy, sell, trade, swap, whatever you want to call it. But one of the cool things is some of the records were out of their sleeves. Some of them were not. I was lucky enough, or the records were lucky enough to be in their sleeves, and some of them didn't actually have a jacket for whatever reason. Some of them weren't there. Some of them were just too far gone. I had to get rid of them. It was just, they were just, water damage and mold and whatnot. But the records themselves, a lot of them were actually okay, which I kept. The most, 2 of them was, if I get to them in this pile, I'll show you, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time because there's a lot to go through. I'm not going to talk too much about the records. I'm just going to kind of show them and show what I got. So, one of the cool ones I found was, it was a Rolling Stones Between the Buttons mono, which I was like, it was actually probably very good to very good minus condition with no jacket, but still you can't just get rid of it. You got to keep that. So I'm hoping sometime in the future, if I come across maybe the album cover, I'll be able to maybe use the cover that's in good shape, and I'll be able to use match the record up with the album cover. So that was a cool find. There was also another one. It was a Jimmy Page. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll see if I can't come across it when I go through these records. So, like I said, the first few are going to all be up for grabs, swap, whatever. If you're interested, feel free to give me a shout out, and we'll see if we can't kind of I'm more than happy to do some sort of a swap. So the first one, I need a drink, and I don't have one ready here. So, anyway, the first one is Bruce Springsteen's in the E Street Band Live 75 to 85. up for grabs. It's not in the best of condition, but it's not really bad. Just a little holiday there. It's a 5-album set. Unfortunately, 2 of them are missing. I'm trying to remember if it's sides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think are the 2 ones that are missing. All right, and so that one's up for grabs. And as far as I can tell, these are all good, very good, maybe very good minus. Some are near mint, but certainly more than better condition. They're certainly able to play with without any problems, because I got rid of all the junk right away. All these I'm showing are in good shape. Another one up for grabs, the Ramones. I don't have, but I've never been into the Ramones, so if somebody out there is interested, there you go. It's an original. Next one, was never into them. The Clash. Up for grabs. Another band I never got into. I can't explain why. Maybe it's, I don't know. Considering I love the music out of the 60s and 70s, we have the Grateful Dead. This is Europe in 70 with 2 live in Europe, 72. 3-album set. I did have to repair the spine because it was completely taken off. So it's in decent shape. I just had to put tape on the spine to keep it together. But that's a 3-record set, and they're all in good condition. Another Grateful Dead album. This is an early pressing of Pink Floyd. John Denver. Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits. Gatefold. Bruce Springsteen, The River. And I think this one's complete. This one's got it's a 2-record set. I have a couple copies of that one. The Cars, up for grabs. This is one I actually have, but I have no reason to replace it. It's just good condition. Judy Garland. Harry Belafonte. One that I already have. The Police. And last but not least, Linda Ronstadt. These are all in very good condition. Certainly shouldn't be a problem for playing. Those are all up for grabs. Swap, sell, trade. I'm not really sure what, off the top of my head, what I am looking for. I probably should have prepared something, but just let me know if there's something you're interested in, and we'll work out some sort of a deal. Okay? All right. Now, the next ones I'm going to show are part of my collection that I got out of my recent purchase. These, we're going to continue with, this is Woody Guthrie. And again, some of this stuff is, I couldn't believe in the condition it was in, but some of these I have doubles of, but and some I simply just don't have, and I'm glad to put them in my collection. I showed this one previous, Newport Broadside. That's the Folk Festival, 1963. Original. That's an original on Vanguard, actually. And that album is actually, I think I mentioned my other video. This actually is in better condition than I thought. I must have been thinking of something else. This is actually in very good plus condition. It's actually really good. Play it. It sounds amazing. Dylan and Pete Seeger, and also Joan Baez and Bob Dylan. And it's not the whole concert. And I think he did Rolling Stone, or he did a few songs, but they're not on this. This is actually what I reasonably believe this is his first folk festival. So next one, this was an outstanding find. I couldn't believe I found this one. This is Out of Our Heads, This is mono. Great condition. Rolling Stones Now. Another great one. And the hits keep getting better and better. This is an original. There you go. Janis Joplin. And it's an original. Sounds amazing. Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is an original, and the way I can tell is not like a second press, just an early pressing of this is the reprise or reprise because of the orange. Some of the later pressings are all this like light brown, but this is an early pressing. It's great to find a lot of these stuff there. This is another one, great one. U2. Bob Dylan bringing it all back home. This is when he went electric. This was a good one. Planet Waves, Bob Dylan. It's another great one. I have this one already, but I don't think I have this particular pressing. I think the one I have is a UK pressing. And it keeps getting better and better, folks. Jimi Hendrix, Roots of Hendrix. Some of these I've already put in sleeves, trying to save them, you know. This one, another Hendrix. Some of these I've listened to, some of them I have not. And actually, one of them folds into this one right here, I think. Yep. This one folds out into a poster. And that's the actual cover. That's really, really cool. I'm going to go and see, just fold it like that. Boom. See if I can do this on cue. There you go. Alrighty. This is a great one. This is Belafonte. Sings the blues. Supremes. Donna Summer. Now listen, the next one I'm going to show, you need to be sitting down to see this one, because this is going to blow your socks off. Okay? You know what? I'll give it a listen. Okay. I'm going to continue with some more that I am going to keep in my collection. We have 10,000 Maniacs. We have Arlo Guthrie. I love his music. I have a lot of his stuff. I do not have early stuff like this. Arlo Guthrie. Alice's Restaurant. You know that song? That's a Melanie. You know, honestly, I've never heard of her. I'm sure I've heard some of her songs, but I